Hello, and welcome to Scrap TV, the video forum for the ISRI and Scrap Magazine websites. I'm Kent Kaiser, your Scrap TV host, and today I'm here with Mark Lewon, president of Utah Metal Works in Salt Lake City, Utah. Mark is here because in April 2016 he was elected chair of ISRI for the 2016-2018 term. First of all, congratulations, Mark, on your election.
Thank you.
Well deserved. And I just wanted to get us started here saying that you've been working in the scrap industry for like 30 years, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just sort of tell us what is it about the industry that you find you really like the most?
You know, over the course of my career, I've met some of the biggest characters, and so I really like the people. And it even extends to the trade association.
People, I hear that a lot. It's a great industry for people. How about what you like the least? Anything that really bother you?
You know, some of the things they're really minor. There's some ethical issues that bother me a little bit, and I think that there's some safety issues that we probably take kind of put in the back seat. But for the most part, I really like a lot of it.
Okay, great. Well, now, in your career, you've probably been involved with ISRI for about 22 years now, I believe, and some kind of leadership context. And now you're the association's highest elected office. Can you sort of give me a feel for your journey to get to this point, the different positions you've been in, any high points and low points along the way?
Certainly, when I finished being a chapter president, I think you come out of it and you feel really good because you finished what I think is a kind of a tough job. But if you go and you hang around, if people are done and they're interested, finished with their chapter presidency and they're interested in doing something else, you go and hang around some of the people that are in different positions. And I'm talking about people like maybe division chairs and things like that. And that's how you make that next leap. And I thought that was kind of a fun way to do it, but I was going to keep coming to the board meetings anyway. So it's one of the funny things that I see happening.
Now, what kind of positions have you served in over your tenure with ISRI? What kind of different jobs?
Well, let's see, I was the non-ferrous division chair, which put me on the audit committee of all things. I have been the convention chairman, and then a national officer. But the nice thing was Joel Denbo put me on his executive committee when I was convention chairman. So you really get a view of what's going on there.
Okay, so you've seen the workings in all kinds of positions.
ISRI with its clothes off, that's right.
Well, now you first ran for the National ISRI Office of Secretary-Treasurer in 2008.
That's right.
And that was a four-way person election, and you did not win that one. Can you remember how you felt after that experience?
Well, I think that when you lose an election and you've got your peers, it hurts. It does, because you know, and you can rationalize it in a lot of ways. You can say, well, you know, there are three other great guys running, and there were three other great guys running. But I think that the thing that you do is you do take it a little bit personally. But my decision really was, as soon as I lost, it's like, look, okay, I'll give this one more time. And if it doesn't work out, then it's not like I'm going away, but don't ever ask me to run for anything else again, because I won't.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that experience made you question continuing on in service at ISRI at all, or was that never a question for you?
I would have continued serving. You know, if somebody had said, hey, I need you to be on my executive committee, I'd have been happy to do that. But it would have been standing for election that I wouldn't have been interested in if I lost a second time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, again, we're talking hypotheticals, but...
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, when you do enter the National ISRI officer ranks, you have to climb through three other positions: Secretary Treasurer, Vice Chair, Chair-elect, before you get to become Chair. Can you tell me a little bit about what you found that were the challenges and rewards of climbing through those other positions until now?
I really look at those as being formative. Joel Dinbo always called him a junior officer when you're the secretary-treasurer and you're the vice chairman. And to some extent, there's some truth to that because you're not invited to all the meetings. And once you hit that chair-elect position, then it changes. And there's varying personalities have varying ways of dealing with all these different positions. And so it's interesting to see how different chairs treat those different positions because it's all different. It's all different. And I think regardless of how that works out, the chair-elect position is different because you are going to be the next person to come along, and it's known. It's not like somebody can come in and challenge you for the position.
Right.
So once somebody does that, what you have is you have a position where now they got to take you seriously, and you do get taken seriously because you do go to some of the meetings, particularly, and I'm thinking the convention meeting, because in a couple of years you're going to be the one that's going to be figuring that stuff out yourself.
Sure.
And so you probably better see it. So there are all these different other meetings too that you go see, but it's the inner workings. It's learning as you go through how staff goes and works with members, how we address problems, how we address challenges in the industry, and it's all formative. In my opinion, that's my view of the last 6 years.
Okay. I think I've heard you refer to that period as kind of like a finishing school.
Yeah.
And that sort of sums it up as you're sort of preparing for what's coming next.
Yeah. You're an officer. Now we're gonna make you one.
Well, now you took office as chair in April of 2016, which happened to be during one of the worst economic times of the recycling industry. Now, given the current economic realities, I mean, what are some of your priorities for your administration, given the situation?
Yeah, the biggest problem that I have is if I thought looking and starting out as a secretary-treasurer or something, as I went through the ranks, if there were things that I thought that I was going to do in terms of starting new programs or going different directions with the trade industry, budgetary restrictions are going to kind of rein me in. So really I look at where we're going is we're going to try and, we've got to manage what we have responsibly. We've got to evaluate the programs that we have and fix them to the extent that they need to be fixed. I mean, if it's not broken, I don't want to fix it. But it's managing what we're doing. And ISRI is shrinking. I mean, I'm looking at the budgets today, and we're shrinking, and it's managing that shrinkage that we've got to do, and really that's going to be my role.
Okay. Do you see that this is a temporary shrinkage, or do you think it's sea change in the industry? And
I'm sitting here looking at particularly some of the non-ferrous markets. The ferrous market hasn't taken off. For some of the things, I'm looking at plastics and paper markets, and the non-ferrous markets, we're really seeing some movement, kind of really back and forth. But there's been commentary here. It's July of 2016, and we'll see what happens down the road. But it's really people think that maybe things have changed. I see Goldman Sachs has increased the figures of where they think the averages are going to be for some of the metals. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, but what does that do to what ISRI's revenues are and how ISRI's members feel about how things are going? And I don't know the answer to that yet. It's too early. But you look at the numbers that we have in terms of membership, and the numbers are down, and people's volumes are down, and what their revenues are down. And so all this means that ISRI's revenues are going to be down. So we have to manage that. And at this point, I'm as much in the dark as anybody else.
Okay. All right. What would you like your legacy to be at the end of your administration for ISRI?
I really would like to have people take a look at it and say, for as tough as the times were, he did as good a job as anybody could do. And, am I going to make some mistakes? Of course I'm going to make some mistakes. I like to think I'm human. But the whole point is that we want people to feel like they've been treated well, and that ISRI does a good job, and we manage the affairs that we do, and if there are problems, that we address them.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, final question here for you. How would you finish the following sentence for me? When my term as ISRI chair ends, I will...
Humera and I have talked about this, and Humera says, well, you're going to come home to me, and we're going to spend a lot of time together. That's my final answer.
She answered for you.
Yes, she did.
Well, thank you, Mark, for joining us here today on Scrap TV. Very much appreciated.
My pleasure.
And thank you all for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.